The Nike Pegasus Turbo 1 was arguably Nike's best ever shoe, and they finally brought it back. And today we're going to be looking at the new Pegasus Plus. It's going to be a huge test to see how much I don't care about vlogging in public, and low-key it's quite embarrassing, but we're heading to the Nike store, which is like over there. And holy crap, there's a lot of people. Nike have released a shoe called the Pegasus Plus, which is meant to be the Turbo 4. So we're gonna try and get our hands on that today. The store opens in like 10 minutes maybe, so I'm gonna be one of the first people to get it. I think it releases in the US on the 8th of August, but then Japan hits 8th of August first. So I might be one of the first in the entire planet to buy it, which is pretty cool. That does mean I have to buy full price, which will kind of suck. And holy crap, there's a Hoka store. It's pretty cool how they have some running stuff on display. They got Sifan Hassan, Eliud Kipchoge. I'm not surprised that there's no line in front of the store for the Turbo 4 or Pegasus Plus release, because yeah, running's just not that hype. It's not like an Air Jordan release or whatever. I don't even know what they are, by the way. I'm a pure runner. Yeah, it's a pretty cool and big store, like multiple stories. I think it opens in 1 minute, so yeah, can't wait.
Hi, welcome to Nike. Konnichiwa.
Alright, pretty cool atmosphere here. And it looks like a lot of the first floor is dedicated for running. We're gonna do a full tour before we check out the shoes. Alright, here we go. This is what got released today. It's brand new. I'm the first person to touch it. 何のサイズありますかこれ？僕29センチなんですけど。はい。
28.5だったら。
Alright, so these in 3 colors. The white and red. Got the black with blue and orange. And then the black and white.
目当てで来てくださったんですか？
はい。オーストラリアから来て、まあ向こうに住んでるんですよ。でも、向こうではまだ出てなくて、まあ今日買ってビデオを作ったら絶対いろんな人が見る
なるほど。
と思うんですけど、はい。
ありがとうございます。
Alright, we are back and we're about to unbox the Pegasus Plus, which is so exciting because a lot of you guys might remember, but the Pegasus Turbo 1 and the Pegasus Turbo 2 were amazing shoes and they were so popular back then. Nike were the first company to bring out these like versatile trainers where you can jog in it and race in it as well. That started it all. So this is like the equivalent of the Endorphin Speed 4, Rebel V4, Mach 6 and all that sort of stuff. This is such an exciting shoe. Just because they're bringing it back. So they got rid of it for a while, and the reason why is probably because this was affecting the sales of shoes like the Infinity, Vomero, the Structure, and all that sort of stuff. Just because the shoe was so good. That's what I heard at least, and that's what a lot of people speculate. But it's a good move by Nike to bring it back. Other insider news that I've heard is that Nike have finally realized that a lot of the brands have caught up to them and yeah, like surpassed them in terms of shoes as well. Like there's no real Nike shoe that really excites me nowadays apart from the Alphafly 3 and now this. Infinities are meh, Invincibles are meh, Structures, Vomeros, I feel like none of them are anything special and they don't interest me at all. But this is one of those shoes that do interest me because of how good it was back in the day. And they finally brought it back, which is such an exciting thing for the running world, in my opinion. Especially if you were running back then as well, you'll know how hype this shoe is. So this design kind of resembles what the Turbo 1 looked like. It was also known as the Turbo 35. Turbo 35, Turbo 1, same thing. What I heard Nike are gonna do is, moving forward, they're gonna have 3 categories of shoes. So there's the Pegasus lineup, the Vomero lineup, and the Structure lineup. And with each of those 3 categories, they're gonna have a plus model and a premium model. So that essentially means that there's gonna be 9 shoes on the market and they're gonna get rid of the Invincible, get rid of the Infinity and all the other stuff. They'll obviously keep the racing shoes as well, like the Vaporfly, Alphafly and all that, but they're gonna try and simplify the name so that it's easier for people to understand. But what I don't think is smart is that they're gonna actually have 9 different shoes, which is going to make things complicated as well. In my personal opinion, I think they should just have 4 shoes with really different names that are for completely different purposes rather than making shoes that are similar, because people are going to confuse the Pegasus and the Pegasus Plus and the Pegasus Premium, which is coming out next year apparently. And yeah, like the average person isn't going to go do their research and work all that stuff out, and they're just going to be really confused. Like they're going to be like, what's the difference between the Pegasus Plus and the Pegasus Premium? Like they sound very similar. Yeah, I think naming convention could do with a bit of work. From a consumer perspective, I think it's so much better when something's easier to understand. So that's my feedback for Nike. Not that they're ever going to watch this video, but I truly think that they should simplify their lineup rather than making 9 shoes in the daily trainer category. But that's enough blabbering on. Let's go to the rooftop and then unpack this shoe a bit more and talk about the specifics of this shoe. Okay, so let's quickly talk about the specs of the shoe. We got 35 millimeters in the heel and 25 millimeters in the forefoot for a 10 millimeter drop. A lot of Nike shoes are 10 mil drops, and honestly, they should start experimenting with different types of drops, because you can't just have everything the same. Like, we need a bit of variance between a brand's like shoe lineup. It's so good when a brand has like 4 mil drop, 6 mil drop, 8 mil drop, 10 mil drop, and just a whole range that you can kind of work through, because you do work different muscles with every single type of drop. I think it's good to have a bit of variance, especially if you want to stay injury free when you're running a lot of miles. So my advice to Nike is to start experimenting with different drops and get out of that 10 mil drop category. I think the Turbo would have been perfect if it was like 6 or something, so that it's a bit different to your Invincible, Infinity, your Pegasus, and all the other shoes that they have. This is exciting. As you've already seen, I've tried it out in store, but I want to get a proper feel of the shoe. It just looks beautiful. I love the colorway. This is one of the OG colorways of the Pegasus Turbo. They brought it back to celebrate the return of the Turbo, so highly appreciated, Nike. I remember thinking about this like maybe about 2 years ago, I want to say, maybe even 3 years ago, where I was like, damn, I would do anything for Nike to bring back a shoe with this stripe again. Honestly, didn't think they would do it. I thought Nike was just going to go downhill forever in terms of shoes, but it's good that they've realized that they were going downhill and finally took some action. So respect to Nike for at least identifying it. To be honest, they are a couple of years late. They're gonna need to do a lot of work to get back to the top in terms of training shoes. Like, everyone used to wear a Pegasus for training, but that's because there wasn't much out there, and also there just wasn't enough like people talking about the other brands. When I first started running in like 2014, I wore it On Running, and they were like brand new back then. It might have even been 2013, and that was because I knew someone that worked for On and it was brand new, and I just want to support. And I had quite a lot of shoes. Like, I've owned so many On running shoes back then. I used to have like a rotation of 8 shoes, and they're all On. And then I had a bit of Salomon as well, and then I moved to Nike. So it took a while before I got my first Nike, but once I got to Nike, I was like addicted to Nike for a while. When they had the Epic Reacts and the Pegasus Turbo and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, then I just tried other shoes, and the Pegasus weren't great, and they stopped making the Turbo, so I just started playing around with all the different brands. But I'm glad they brought this back. Feel pretty good. I don't know what Believe in the Run we're complaining about. Like,
I feel like it just compressed a lot. So even though the stack looks bigger than even the original Turbo and the Streakfly, I could feel the ground more through the forefoot on this shoe than I really wanted to.
You talked about feeling the ground more, and that is one of the things that I felt.
Plenty of cushioning. Yeah, honestly, I like it more than the Turbo 2. I think because my Turbo 1s were so dead by the end of the time that I was using it, I feel like it felt more flat compared to this. So this actually feels like a more cushioned version of the Turbo original. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I don't know what the hate was about from the other running shoe reviewers, but yeah, it's good. Obviously, the biggest competitors are the Mach 6, the Endorphin Speed 4, and the Rebel V4, that sort of category. And yeah, I'd rank it just as high as all the other stuff. Maybe the speeds will edge it by a tiny bit, the Saucony Endorphin Speed, but in terms of Rebel V4, Mach 6, like exactly the same level. I wouldn't say one's better than the other. But yeah, this is way better than all the other Pegasus shoes out there. So this is actually a genuine Turbo kind of feel, not a Pegasus. Even though it's called the Pegasus Plus now, which is so confusing, and I still hate the naming convention, but it's a great shoe. So after trying it out for like a little bit, obviously I haven't actually done a proper run yet, it feels surprisingly soft. I kind of am a big fan of it. I feel like a lot of the Pegasus shoes, like the 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, actually not the 41 because I haven't worn it yet. I can't speak from experience, but all the other shoes that I mentioned are all on the firmer side, and this one has that nice little soft feeling to it. The toe box and the whole upper itself felt quite roomy, which I'm a big fan of just because I hate being crammed in shoes. And honestly, I think even compared to the old Turbos, it probably feels a little bit wider. I think Nike have traditionally been known for doing quite narrow toe boxes, but it's good to see that they're doing a bit more wide toe box shoes as well, because it genuinely is good for you. And I expect a company like Nike, which is very established, to know that and have good fitting shoes that accommodate a bigger population as well. Other stuff you can notice when you look at it from top down, you can see that the outsole here, the foam, comes out wider, so that's going to give you that little bit of lateral stability, and that's good in a shoe that's a bit softer because obviously you're way more prone to rolling your ankle, especially that way laterally. But having that lateral flare where the shoe comes out on the side, you can even see from the bottom, it comes out on the side, gives you that extra surface area and that stability that you want. And the other thing I want to mention is that because it doesn't have a plate, it's actually quite nice that it is on the flexible side. Again, I think there's always more room for flexible shoes with all the shoes becoming very cushioned nowadays. Appreciate the flexibility. And to talk a bit more about the upper, what I liked about the Turbo 1 as opposed to the Turbo 2 is that the back was quite padded and it felt quite comfy, like I could wear it for a long time, whereas the Turbo 2 felt more stripped down and like a race-like feel. Big fan of the more padded back, but the front is actually pretty breathable and there are perforating holes. So the upper material is definitely different to the OG Turbos, which is a distinguishing factor because they look similar because of that stripe, but it's good to know that the upper material is a bit different. It's just the comfy upper, it's good. Yeah, so far, pretty big fan of this. It's a surprise and I'm happy that I'm surprised because when I watched some of the reviews beforehand, I was like a bit skeptical because, you know, obviously I'm not getting this shoe for free. I'm using my own money to pay for it full price. So it is a bit of an investment, but yeah, hopefully I'll be happy with it. And I'll definitely try it out for a few runs and then make another review, proper review on what I think about it afterwards. But for now, I will enjoy having a Turbo again and I'm stoked.